What if there were a mom capable of catching all your fears and locking them in jars of colors? At the end of this story, you'll discover a moral you'll never forget. In a hidden forest lived Lua, a mother owl who had a unique ability. She could see the fears of others and turn them into lights inside glass jars. Each jar glowed with a different color. The fear of the dark was deep blue, the fear of rejection a vivid red, and the fear of failure a trembling gray. Lua lived with her little son, Milo, a restless and dreamy owl who had nightmares every night where he fell from the sky or couldn't find his nest. "Mom, can you keep my fears too?" Milo asked one night, trembling under her wings. Lua smiled at him and looked for an empty jar. With her magical beak, Lua caught the shadows from Milo's dream and turned them into a silver spark. The jar vibrated and glowed softly. Each night, Milo slept more peacefully, and his shelf of jars shone like a galaxy. But Lua began to feel weaker with every jar she filled. What Milo didn't know was that every time his mom caught a fear, a part of her energy left with it. But Lua never complained. One day, Milo met a firefly named TV, who had never felt afraid. "You don't have fears?" he asked in amazement. "Of course I do," replied TV, "but instead of trapping them, I let them dance a while. Sometimes they even teach me something." Milo was thoughtful. That night, he had a giant nightmare, but he didn't run to his mom. Instead, he watched her as she slept, paler than ever. He woke up determined. He didn't want Lua to fade away from protecting him. So he went to his shelf, chose a jar, and opened it with trembling hands. The fear flew out, wrapping around him like a cold wind. He wanted to run, but remembered what TV had told him and took a deep breath. Then something magical happened. The fear changed form and turned into a small glowing bird that perched on his shoulder. "Thank you for facing me," whispered the bird. "I just wanted to be heard." And it disappeared, leaving behind a floating golden feather. The next morning, Milo opened another jar, and then another. Each fear transformed into something different. Music, colors, sparks of wisdom. Lua woke up and saw her son surrounded by light. "What did you do?" she asked in astonishment. Milo smiled. "I talked to them, Mom, and they stopped scaring me." Lua hugged him tightly. "You're braver than I imagined," she said, with luminous tears that healed her tiredness. From that day on, Milo stopped filling jars. Instead, he painted his fears with watercolors and shared them with other children in the forest. TV visited every afternoon to dance beside the new drawings. The fears became stories, songs, and living works of art. Other owls, deer, squirrels, and even foxes came to leave their jars. Milo opened them one by one with patience, without fear. One day, a jar appeared as black as the void. No one knew whose it was or what it held, but Milo held it firmly in his hands. When he opened it, no shadow came out, only a silent breeze. Inside was a note written with feathers. "The greatest fear is the one unspoken." Milo understood. It was his mom who had kept the fear of losing him. Without saying a word, he ran to hug her. Lua no longer had the strength to trap more fears, but she didn't need to. Milo, now, was the light that dissolved the shadows. One night, the treehouse glowed with all the jars opened. The light of each released fear formed a constellation in the sky. From afar, travelers said that forest had a different sky, full of shapes of fear transformed into love. Milo grew up and turned the old house into the school of the brave, where boys and girls learned to face their shadows without running away. The jars remained empty, but full of stories. And Lua, now in the form of a star, kept shining in each one of them. TV still flies around, whispering to the little ones, "Don't be afraid of fear, just learn to listen to it." Moral: fears don't disappear when we hide them, but when we face them with courage and turn them into something beautiful. See you very soon with more magical stories that will make your imagination soar and touch your heart in every adventure.